we're moving into some adjustments and assists during Sun Salutations. This is Jackie, Paul, and what we're going to do is we're going to go right into it. So I'm going to ask Jackie, go ahead and go to the front of the mat. You want to have your students always working from the front of the mat. Sometimes I see people that will start the sequence at the back of the mat, which by the time they get to the lunge, they're going to be off the mat. A couple of things, and what I'd like you to do is to take a look at Jackie's back as far as the heels being pretty close in alignment with the lower back and pretty close in alignment with between her shoulder blades, about her shoulder blades, and the neck nice and tall, the eyes at eye level, and here we have basically mountain pose. So I'm going to ask you to bring your hands into Namaste. Good. And from here, go ahead and do a little bit of rooting. So you're going to go back and forth. She's bringing her feet in so that the toes are pretty close to touching each other as she goes back and forth. Now, the good thing about this is you start to focus on all four corners of the feet. Okay. Depending on your student's ability to balance, sometimes it's better off, rather than being too traditional, to allow some of your students to be a hip width. Some of them are never going to feel quite comfortable bringing it in. You can do it all the way in like this, but I want you to keep in mind some of your students are on medication, prescriptions, and so forth, and when they are, what happens is their balance on some of those meds are that's compromising their ability to balance. So you've got that as a variation of a factor, and you've also got if somebody has inner ear problems. Okay, the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is to take a big inhale and extend your hands up. Good. And right here, I don't have to make too much as far as assists. You know, she's got her hands pretty good. I'm going to just make a slight adjustment here. It's really not much of an adjustment. I want the hands in line with the shoulders. Some students are not going to be able to bring their hands back this far. Some students are actually going to be quite a bit forward. And I'll give you an example. Go ahead and bring them forward a little bit, Jackie. Now, somebody might have their shoulders actually locked in this position. I'm trying to push it back and I start to feel a lot of resistance. That shoulder's not going to work for you the way it's drawn up, say, in a book or on a sketch. So it's one of those things where I want you to be aware of what you're getting into with different students. Go ahead and bring it back to where it was. Okay, so this is a good start. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask you to go into a forward fold, and usually this is just for an exhale, but I want you to breathe normally. Okay, and yep, that's it. She allowed her knees to bend, and one of the things I want to mention is the knees should not be locked, ever. Okay, no joint should be locked in yoga. Also, this is actually good stuff. Jackie's taken about 3 classes, okay? Now, at the same time, she's starting to bring her belly toward her thighs, and the knees are bending, and not everyone's in the same boat. Some people just fold completely. So I want you to be careful of how much you expect from your students. Also, for example, on something like this, if you want to make an adjustment, I'm going to pull these blocks out of the way. I put the blocks here so you can kind of see how later on we modify some postures. But as an example on this one, I'm going to come into a kneeling position right here. And so I want to be in good position. And what I'm going to do is take just above her knees, and I start to lean in. And I'm going to ask you when you exhale to give me some feedback. Let me know when you exhale. Okay. And now see, I can start to compress a little bit, not too much. Okay. And so, therefore, I'm going to leave you on your own. And this is nice stuff. So what we've got is the best at this time, forward fold for Jackie. And each person is different. So you're going to get some people who can't bend this much, some people who can bend more, and she's right about in the middle. Okay, next thing I'm going to ask you to do is to go into a lunge and bring your right foot back. Okay. Now, there's a couple of dimensions you're looking at on the, as far as the forward leg, and come on around this way so you can take a peek. Jackie's knee, we want to look at the knee where it is. It's wintertime here in New England, so we are wearing more clothes than we normally do in the summertime. So here's the thing. We've got the ankle itself in alignment with the knee on a straight line. Now when you're at the side, you're going to see the same thing, but it's a different dimension. Some people have the lower leg developed differently. Some people are not so straight with their bones. Also, there's another thing, and I want you to come around to the side to see this one, and that is, as you start to look at the body from the side, how much is the knee over the ankle? We don't want the knee to be pronated beyond the ankle. We'll just give you an exaggeration. We're not going to do this very long, but go ahead and bend forward and do some bad form. Okay, we don't want this, so come on back. So we're coming back. And the reason why we're doing this is because if somebody has a pre-existing knee injury, to pronate the knee excessively is going to wear it out more. Okay. Also, if you have within your lineage, your family line has a problem with knees in the past, you want to make sure that the knee is taken care of. Okay. From here, go ahead into plank. Okay, so she sets into plank, and I'm going to ask you, your feet should be probably about hip width apart, okay? And also start to lower your body so that, yes, 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 and a little bit of give in the elbows. Good. Okay, so this is plank, and you know, there's going to be some different planks you're going to see. On this one, this is just one example. Okay, now slowly come down to 8 points pose. Okay, so as you come down to 8 points pose, your sit bones are going to come up high. Yep, and your belly's off the floor. Yes, yes, yes. Good. And now I'm going to make an adjustment. Okay, she did really good on everything. All I'm doing here is, you notice that I'm in a posture close to, say, for example, goddess pose. Okay, so what I'm doing here is making an adjustment, and by drawing in right here, it's going to set her up for when she does cobra. And now I'm going to ask you, you know, normally this would be on just an inhale to go into cobra. Go ahead. And this is good. She did cobra. That's very nice. Now, a couple of things. The elbows were out wide. So what we want to do is bring the elbows back. We're not going so high to start with, but I'm going to ask you to go back into 8 points pose again. Good. Now, try to scoop up a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Now, I'm still going to make the adjustment here. Okay, so what I did is I drew those elbows in. Come on around so you can see something. The next thing I want you to do is you want to notice that the elbows were about here, somewhere abouts, and what I did is I just drew them in. So you want to make sure that you're taking a peek at these things. Now,